The day I returned home, the air was thick with the weight of memories I thought I'd buried. A chill crept through the old familiar streets like a whisper, reminding me of the scorn and laughter that once echoed in these walls. My family had called me insane for pursuing what they deemed a ridiculous obsession, investigating sonic hauntings, mapping the inaudible frequencies that lingered in abandoned foundries and dilapidated buildings. They thought I'd disgrace our name with my delusional pursuits. They never expected I'd become a leading expert in the field, someone who had not only survived, but thrived in the darkness they mocked. As I crested the hill and the old family home came into view, a surge of bittersweet nostalgia washed over me. I remembered the nights when I'd sit at the dinner table, the laughter ringing like a bell, only to be met with dismissive sneers when I dared to speak of my work. "You'll lose your mind," they'd said, their voices dripping with condescension. "You'll disgrace us." But I had uncovered truths they could never comprehend, truths that now hung over them like a shroud of dread. I stepped inside, the door creaking with a familiarity that felt like an embrace. The scent of old wood and stale air wrapped around me, and I could almost hear the echoes of my childhood, until I caught sight of their faces. My mother, with a frown etched deep into her brow. My father, arms crossed tightly across his chest, as if warding off the very idea of me. My brother, a smirk plastered on his face, as if he were still the king of mockery. Their eyes spoke volumes, skepticism, disbelief, and a touch of fear. "Look who's back," my brother said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "The ghost whisperer." I took a breath, steadying myself against the tidal wave of emotions threatening to drown me. "I've seen things you wouldn't believe," I replied, my voice firm. "Things you'll witness soon enough." They laughed, a hollow sound that echoed in the cramped room. "You really think you're some kind of expert, don't you?" my father said, shaking his head. "You're just a scared little kid playing with ghosts." But I held my ground, refusing to let their mockery pierce the armor I'd built over the years. "I'm not playing," I said, my voice low and steady. "I'm here to show you the truth." The night wore on, tension crackling in the air between us, like static electricity. I regaled them with tales of my investigations into the hidden acoustics of long-forgotten places, how certain frequencies could awaken the echoes of the past, causing hysteria or even madness in those who listened too closely. I described the chilling tones that would resonate through the halls of abandoned foundries, luring the unsuspecting into a trance. But instead of intrigue, I was met with scoffing disbelief. Then, as the clock struck midnight, something shifted. The room grew darker, the shadows stretching like fingers across the walls. I felt it before I saw it, a low hum, an inaudible frequency that only I could perceive. My pulse quickened, the familiar thrill of anticipation mingling with dread. "Did you hear that?" I asked, my eyes darting around the room, but they only stared at me, their expressions a mix of confusion and derision. "Maybe it's just your imagination, freak," my brother sneered. But then it happened. The temperature dropped, and a hollow sound reverberated through the floorboards, a sound that clawed at the edges of sanity. The lights flickered, and the walls seemed to pulse away.